Okay, so our next video, we're just going to recap what Venn diagrams are, firstly. You should have seen it a few years ago, but briefly, Venn diagrams are just a nice way of showing how different events overlap when you're conducting an experiment or a trial. Okay, so for example, if you're rolling a dice, and we say that event A is rolling a prime number and event B is rolling an odd number, then we can put all the outcomes in our Venn diagram here. Now firstly, probably the most important is what goes in this overlapping section here. So 3 and 5 are both prime numbers and odd numbers, so they need to go in both circles, so they go in this overlapping section. So we have 2 that is a prime number but not odd. We have 1 that is odd number but not prime, and we have 4 and 6 that are neither. So go outside, but still inside the box. Okay, this box that we denote with a U, you might call the universe, contains all outcomes in our experiment. Okay. So that was an example of when we were writing every single outcome in our Venn diagram in the appropriate region. But now we can see an example where sometimes we might just want to write the number of outcomes that are in that region. Okay, I have 150 students here. I'm not going to write 150 names in this Venn diagram. Okay, but it still will be helpful to say how many students go in which part of the diagram. Okay, so from these 150 students, I am told that 85 do biology, 64 do chemistry, and 17 do neither. Okay, I could put that 17 in here straight away, but if I start to look into this, these other students, I would see that if I add these up, I get 149. Okay, and those 149 plus the 17 are far more than 150. So what's happened here? Well, there's clearly been some students that I've counted in the 85 for biology and in the 64 for chemistry. Okay, i.e. students that study both subjects. Okay, so if we want to work out how many do both subjects, well, I can take my 17 and I can figure out that 133 students do one or the other, or both. Okay, so basically what do I need? How many students have I counted twice? Well, I could find the difference here, and it's 16. Okay, so those are the ones counted twice, so those are the ones that do both, and those are the ones that I can put in the middle here. Okay, and then also very importantly, I don't just put 85 and 16 in here, because I've already counted 16 of them. Okay, there's already part of each circle is already filled in. Okay, so I've got 16 here. That means I'm only left with 69 that just do biology and 48 that just do chemistry. Very important to remember to do that subtraction. Okay, now those four numbers now will add up to 150. Okay, so that was when we just wrote the number of outcomes in each region. Sometimes we might just shade a region as well if we're referring to certain sort of overlaps or combinations of events. And this is a good time to see some actual proper terminology and notation. So what I've got here, I've been calling the overlapping section. We're going to stop calling it that because it's actually called the intersection of two events. Okay, this is when both events have occurred. Okay, and we're going to denote that with this kind of upside down U, although that's not actually what it is. A intersection B. That means A and B, both at the same time. essentially. Now here, you might describe this as A or B or both. Okay, just a total combination of A and B. A or B would be better, I'd say. Now this is going to be called the union. Okay, which is a name that makes sense. Okay, they're joined together. And this is going to have the exact opposite symbol. Okay, just an upside down intersection symbol, or you can think of it as almost a U for union, although it's not just a U really, it looks slightly different than a U. Okay, but that is A or B or both. And finally we have what we have here is basically we've shaded in everything that's not in the B circle, or just basically not B. Okay, or not even the intersection, because that's part of B as well. Okay, and not B is denoted by this little kind of apostrophe here. Okay, which is used for a few different things in maths, but not B in this case. Now, finally, we might have 3 events in a Venn diagram, and maybe even more likely in an actual IB question. If you're identifying regions or shading in regions, for example. Now, I want to shade in, just for this example, A intersection B intersection not C. Okay, don't miss this here. If it was just A, B, and C, A intersection B intersection C, it would be this overlapping all 3 section right in the middle. That would be nice and easy, but it's not. Okay, so we could say, well, firstly, what's the intersection of A and B? It's all of this. Okay, and where does that intersect with not C? Well, just this section here. Okay, you could consider other points in the diagram, like here. Well, that wouldn't be in A and it wouldn't be in B. Here, well, it is in A and it is in not C, but it's not in B. And you could go on and test every region if you really wanted to, and you would find that it doesn't satisfy some part of this description. Okay, and the orange shaded section is the only one that's A, it's in A, it's in B, and it's not in C. Okay.